everyone. I'm Joy Dingle, the Director of Legal Diversity Pipeline Programs at Street Law Inc. And joining me today is Juli Rodriguez, a senior at Potomac High School. Hi, Julie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's nice to be with you today. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us. I wanted to ask you about your early experiences with the Legal Diversity Pipeline Program. When your teacher introduced Street Law's program to the class, what were their first impressions of it, and how did you and your classmates react?
My first impressions, well, my classmates as well, I feel like we were all a bit surprised just because the program was so fresh at our school, but also very intrigued and very pulled into the material once the first day started. Yeah.
Mhm. That's great. So after you got into it and you had the experience of actually going through the program, did some of your other impressions change about the program?
Um, well, my impressions changed in a good way. I thinking about the program. At first, I was, of course, like I said previously, we were all a bit surprised and interested. But now that I've actually gone through, well, when I went through the program for the first time, I was very pleased with what I had learned and way more interested than I was at first.
That's nice to hear. So how has this program affected your life and even your classmates' lives outside of the classroom?
Outside of the classroom, I feel like my life and my classmates' life were impacted by, well, how much we had learned in the class and how most of it we could use in the outside world in terms of um, knowing our rights and applying it to the real world and getting into the also getting into the routine of watching the news. Our teacher was always telling us to watch the news so we know what's going on and how everything that happens impacts our lives.
Mhm. That's a great lesson and a great habit to develop. So I'm glad that we could be a part of that experience. So are you considering a career in the law?
Actually, that's part of the reason why I chose to be in the program to begin with. I have always had a passion for the law. I've always been interested into becoming a lawyer ever since I was small, ever since I could remember.
And is there a certain part of the law that especially excites you?
Um, I think that well, all part of the law excites me. I feel like learning about the law is an amazing way to know how to help people, and I've always been passionate about helping people. I always knew that I'd want to help people once I graduated and picked a career.
That's great. So for some of your classmates who aren't sure if they want to pursue a legal career, what were some other lessons that they learned from the experience that they can apply to their own lives?
Um, I guess we could say that from what we learned in the program about our rights as citizens of the US and our rights as teenagers, um, I feel like that was a was it's something good that they can use outside the classroom even if they are not interested in pursuing law.
Yeah, from what I recall about your program, you focused on immigration and cyberbullying. And both of those really had you and your classmates thinking deeply and having a lot of really thoughtful exchanges about people's rights and what they should be responsible for and how citizens and government should be reacting. Um, so were some of your classmates surprised by their feelings about the topics, or did they change their minds in any way?
Um, Learning about the topics, I feel like my classmates were either more empathetic to the cause or more aware of the cause. A lot of my classmates weren't exposed to these problems. They didn't know that they were happening, and how, like in immigration or in cybercrime, how like what are these crimes and who commits them and what should we do and how to react and what not to do.
Yeah, those sound like great lessons learned. So if you were sitting with another student who was getting ready to participate in this program, what advice would you give them?
I'd say to definitely not take what we learn in that class for granted. Um, it's very important to know what we are being taught in the class, and it can be very useful in the outside world. And I'd also tell them to have fun with the material. I certainly felt like I had a great time with my classmates learning the material, group projects, and stuff like that. Um, and that, well, they should really take the time to actually learn everything and soak in all the information because it's great.
Well, that's great advice, and that's certainly what you and your classmates did. And we wish you the very best as you pursue your next steps after high school. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing some really great things about you and your legal career, whichever direction it may take. Thanks so much for taking time to talk with me today.
Thank you.